very much. How is everybody doing tonight? Yeah, great work, yeah, that was amazing. And now you have to sit there like this for a while, so I appreciate you all watching. Thanks for having me. My name is Clint Bleil. I am a college professor at Seton Hill University in Pennsylvania. It's an honor to be here to work with these students. That first tune was a Sammy Nestico chart called Switchin' Time. Sammy Nestico was a writer for the Count Basie Orchestra. Count Basie being probably the big band, right? I mean, that's one of like the #1 big band leader. And on that, you heard from Max on the trombone, Owen on the trombone, and Kieran on the piano. You gotta have a little bassy at every jazz concert. So this next tune is another swing chart. It's a little bit more chill. This is written by Maria Schneider, who's one of my favorite jazz composers of all time. Most of her music is sort of quasi-classical and jazz influenced, and it has a lot of sort of melding of genres. This one's a little bit different. It's a little bit more traditional swing, but it's still a really awesome chart. And you're going to hear from Micah on the tenor saxophone on this one. But here's Maria Schneider's tune, Smooth Talk. the tenor saxophone on Maria Schneider's smooth guitar. All right, so I have a confession. I tried to write a brand new piece for every festival, and unfortunately I didn't get to write a brand new one for this one. So I picked a song that only has been played once before. So this is a world premiere in Vermont, a state premiere, I guess? I don't know. So this is only the second time this has been played, and it's doesn't have a recording. So a lot of times in jazz, and really all music, but in jazz we work a lot on learning by listening, right? We listen to jazz records and we try to emulate the greats. And this has no recording because I wrote it, and but the recording is my computer. So they did a really good job of trying to like get the right idea and style of this without ever hearing the actual song. And it's written in the style of a boogaloo, which is a genre of dance and music that sort of originated in New York City and sort of created by Cuban and Puerto Rican people that moved to New York in the 60s. And now there's a whole bunch of other genres of music that have the word boogaloo in it, but a boogaloo in the jazz setting has a very specific groove that this tune is based on. And the title of the tune, Electric Boogaloo, comes from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, which is one of my favorite TV shows. So my naming of tunes is average at best. This is a blues, and this is a moment where we're going to open it up for some solos. I think that jazz is primarily based on improvisation and taking solos, and I think that every solo on this concert is improvised. Nothing was written out beforehand. People worked on ideas, but nobody, wrote out every note they're going to play. That's really the beauty of this music, is improvised solos. So on this one, in this order, this is also for me. We're going to hear from Clint on the guitar, Max on the alto saxophone, Wilder on the trombone, and Regan on the trombone. Nodding means I did that right. All right, so please enjoy Electric Boogaloo. Here it is. going to attempt to introduce the band. And I'll try to just introduce each section and we can hold our applause to each section. So from your left to right in the saxophones, we have Micah on the tenor, Henry on the alto, Max on the alto, Xander on the tenor, and Jonathan on the bass saxophone. In the trombones, we got Max on the trombone, Wilder on the trombone, Regan on the trombone, and Owen on the trombone. On the trumpets, we have Mira playing trumpet, we have Eliza playing lead trumpet, we have Addie playing trumpet, and we have Emery playing trumpet. And then in the rhythm, is anybody nervous for me? A little bit? I haven't messed up yet, have I? There's a lot of support that I don't think I deserve. Okay, in the rhythm section, we have Quinn on guitar, Kieran, ooh, beautiful. Kieran on piano. He didn't play a chord. Andrew on bass, and then in the drum set, we have Paris on drums, as well as Finn on drums, both of them playing drums on the Thank you again for GMMDV District 5 for having me and hosting this festival. This has been an incredibly run and really awesome experience. Thanks for Aaron for doing sound wherever he may be. Literally right there. Thank you to Mr. Luce for having me and the Bow River School District for hosting this. This has been really, really amazing. And then thank you to all of you, and thank you to all of you for being here. One more round of applause for families, friends, and students. Just one more piece for you. This is an arrangement of a Freddie Hubbard tune called Little Sunflower. And I always say Little Sunflower because I'm from Pittsburgh and that's how we say things. And in Pennsylvania, people usually laugh, but here everyone's like, why are you talking like that? So it's called Little Sunflower. I've been calling it Little Sunflower. Hopefully all your kids come back to you and start saying things weird too. That was my ambition. On this one, you are going to hear solos from Kieran on the piano, Henry on the saxophone, not in that order. Kieran on the piano, Mira on the trumpet, Henry on the saxophone, and then Paris on the drum set. So please enjoy Mike Kamuf's arrangement of Little Sunflower. Hope you enjoy.
Bye.